It's an icon of Milwaukee's Near West Side, serving thousands of people a year, embracing nature, welcoming new Americans, inspiring discovery. But once upon a time, there was no neighborhood house. Father Reinhard Gutmann wasn't from Milwaukee. He fled Nazi Germany and became an Episcopal priest before he arrived here. He saw a need in his new hometown and founded Neighborhood House in 1945. In the organization's first decades, Father Gutmann, Associate Director Ray Richardson, and the small staff talked to local residents about the challenges in this diverse community. Then, they developed programs to help back at their humble headquarters in a former church building.
It was impossible to get clean. There wasn't much good lighting.
I believe it was the only community center in town with stained glass windows in the restrooms.
My first memories are coming in, the main room in the front. If you came around lunchtime, it was just full of adults playing cards.
Preschoolers and the teenagers and the school-age kids all used the same spaces.
And the nursery school teachers had to bend over and put all the equipment back in a crawl space so that the teenagers could use that space at night for basketball or volleyball or whatever.
The physical space may not have been ideal, yet the programs the staff created would become hallmarks of the organization, like the early childhood and teen programs. In 1960, a new era began when Ray Richardson became executive director.
Ray Richardson was a perfect choice for Neighborhood House at that time. He was the first African American to lead a nonprofit here in Milwaukee other than the Urban League. Ray didn't intend to stay in Milwaukee as long as he did, but he served with us nearly 40 years, 27 years as our executive director.
Ray Richardson's philosophy was, we don't do for others, we help others to do for themselves. So he believed that the job was giving people skills to be able to help themselves.
Ray decided to think big. He wanted to empower his staff to help more people more effectively. It was time for a new building. Thanks to an outpouring of support from the community, the current home of Neighborhood House opened in 1967.
I'm always happy when I walk into that building and kind of hear it buzzing, and especially in terms of the children.
I was 10 years old when I first came in the Neighborhood House. We lived, I want to say, maybe 6 blocks from here. The biggest thing was just somewhere that was safe, that we can kind of get off the streets and kind of, have some fun.
So I'm with a friend. It was 1973, 74, skipping school. And we happened by Neighborhood House. Came inside, told this person, we're looking for work. We were kidding, we're not looking for work. He gave us this wonderful tour, and the next week he calls me and he tells me, guess what? I'd like to offer you a job clearance. I mean, you're kidding, with the condition that you get involved with the teen program. Initially, I was in the space we're in right now. This was a wood shop then. And so I would repair roller skates. And as time went on, I was given responsibility during the school year to assist the staff after school. I had never envisioned myself going on to college, but because of the time that I spent at Neighborhood House, really got me to believe that I could finish going to college.
He didn't just finish college. That kid who used to skip school was appointed executive director of Neighborhood House in 2000.
It all started with walking through that door one day.
And even now, the exceptional staff is ready to help the next person who walks through that door.
I'm confident in the staff. The staff are great people. They love the children. They know my children well, and they treat them with respect.
Everything the kids did, I did. I didn't sit on a chair and watch. I was in with them. Now, did I do it as well? No, but I did it. We started out in play, but we ended out learning how to make decisions in a group setting, learning leadership roles, learning all kinds of skills.
How many urban places like this have a science lab like that?
I personally love the skating room. The new gym's perfect, I love it, you know. End of the day, everybody's leaving, let's go play some basketball.
You would think the building is much bigger than it is because of the amount of resources here.
You have families that live across the street that come here. You have families that, they're coming in from Brookfield, Mequon, Wauwatosa, and they're coming here.
They're coming here because this has always been a welcoming place.
Today we use phrases like diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. As I look back at Neighborhood House, we didn't really talk a lot about it, but we lived it.
Well, the neighborhood itself was diverse, so we didn't have to work awfully hard to get a diverse group in here. And I think that's continued. The work being done now, for example, with immigrant families.
The International Learning Program offers comprehensive support for new Americans and is now the largest educator of refugees in the state of Wisconsin.
I lived in a Thai refugee camp for 26 years. ILP has helped me study, learn English. Now I'm waiting for my citizenship interview.
We are all different nationalities and we come from different homes, but we're in Neighborhood House. And at Neighborhood House, we are one. Even though we look different, we are still one.
For 75 years, Neighborhood House and its staff team have tried to adapt our programming to the needs of our community, sometimes even before the community knows of them. As an example of that, Ray Richardson and his staff realized the importance of environmental education way before their time in the early to mid-60s.
After the building was finished, I said to him, well, Ray, now that you have the building, what are you going to do next? And he said, I would like to get farmland.
You know, a lot of these kids have never been out of the city, so having that as a place to take them is just a gift.
You can learn new things about different plants and different animals.
This is called bee balm.
Garter snakes, perfectly safe. I saw one once. I was scared, so I just walked past.
One of our last days of summer camp, these girls, younger girls, wanted to go on a hike, and they kept asking to make the hike longer and longer and longer. Can we just keep going? And eventually I had to say, the bus is gonna be here in 5 minutes, so we cannot make the hike any longer.
And Neighborhood House has also brought the country right to the city. We took an empty, litter-strewn city lot and turned it into the Neighborhood House Garden Park that features raised garden beds, play areas for the kids, and a variety of art created by our own kids for display for the area residents.
Some children they don't have garden spaces. They live in apartment buildings. The fact that we have an edible garden where children are able to just pick and eat.
And to turn it into a natural place, an environmental teaching place within a half a block of our own facility. It's the sort of thing that we're going to continue to adapt to keep Neighborhood House relevant to our families and to Milwaukee as a whole.
For children right now, they're little people, but they have big problems. There's a lot of big stuff going on in this world.
There's street activity, you know, a lot of things to get into nowadays that probably aren't the best for kids.
Neighborhood House provides a place, a safe place for children to learn, to play, and to grow.
To me, it helped create well-rounded individuals. That's really what we need in our inner city urban communities.
If people want Milwaukee to be an integrated, diverse community with people sharing together and working together, Neighborhood House is probably among the best investments the person could make.
For me, Neighborhood House is family. Every day, I feel connected to the children and the families that I serve.
It's just amazing how many lives have been touched by Neighborhood House.
If you're walking around here, you see a big building with a whole bunch of kids smiling when they walk out, you'll probably want to go there too.